Welcome to the Stick to the Plan podcast. Michigan's elite political podcast is about to begin, live from the birthplace of the Republican Party. Let's gather under the oaks like our forefathers did. Now more than ever, it's time to stick to the plan.
There it is. Hello. Welcome, everyone, to the Stick to the Plan podcast. I'm here as always. I'm Kevin. I'm here as always with Russ.
We're back.
We're back. You're
We're
back.
back.
I'm back. We're all back.
Kevin, I don't know if I hear myself very well in the headphones or not.
Let me
Something's
turn you
off.
up a little bit.
Something's off, like it's off. There's nothing there.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing. Hold on. What about now? Can you hear me?
I hear you, but I don't hear myself or barely do now. I don't know.
I don't know.
Sound check was perfect, but
Yeah, then I had to move things around.
there's
It happens.
no, there's nothing.
You are coming through, though, because...
You just took it all the way away now.
Maybe you're on the... Try now.
I think, there we go.
Okay, you were on the wrong...
That is my beautiful voice.
I think somebody changed the channels around on me.
That's right. Those
Star Stripes and
straight
whatever.
talk.
Yeah,
was
those guys.
in here
Nah,
last night screwing around. We are back. I had the week off last week.
Yep.
I was at the Charlie Kirk Memorial on the Capitol Lawn in Lansing last
Okay.
week. It was an honor to be there. Something's still off with my mic. Maybe it's just volume though, but it's a lot better.
It sounds good on mine. So.
Okay. Who cares what I hear?
John and Roy Red are already in the chat.
You know what I noticed about standing on the Capitol Lawn for the memorial of one of many memorials, if you want to call them that, for Charlie Kirk, was, I don't know, a couple thousand Republicans standing out there, and we were all getting along, Kevin.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's the first time in a long time.
I know it. If anything has created unity, I think this is going to be a movement was hard to stop anyways.
Yeah, it was already moving pretty heavy. And now I don't think it'll be like 9/11 where everybody came
Yeah, I
together
know.
in patriotism. But, I mean,
I think they're trying to create that. I mean, you take a bad thing
Yeah.
and try to make something good out of it.
Toby Keith
Horrible thing.
Toby Keith hasn't written a song yet. So
Yeah, that's right. Everybody else has. By the way, I was at the Capitol, and some Michigan guy wrote a tribute song for Charlie Kirk. I'm standing there trying to be the tough guy of a county chair out there, trying to hold back tears. It was something.
I believe it.
I mean, this guy, whoever the heck he is, I better figure out who this guy is because he was good.
His name might be AI. If it was that
No, he
quick.
was live.
Yeah, I know. I can play things live too with AI.
I was there.
I saw.
Do I have to
I've
start?
seen it.
Do I have to start pinching people to see if they're real or
I
not?
mean, I don't even know. Maybe it wouldn't hurt.
But our guest today, I was way ahead of the curve and scheduled a guest.
And I was way behind it.
I know you didn't.
I didn't know until this morning.
I told you, but I think you forgot or didn't see the text.
Yeah, probably.
But get this, Kevin. I've been practicing.
Oh, yeah?
Today's guest is Kevin Kiefsky.
Nailed it. He's not here yet, but
We can shut it down and go home.
Yeah, we
I
got-
got the name right.
and on a high note.
Yeah. So I scheduled him right at 10 minutes after the announcements that the case against the 2020 Trump electors was dismissed. Our buddy Hank and all 15 of them people.
Hank in 15. There's 16 altogether. I was saying 15, and they were reporting 16.
It might be. I bet you I know who will know that answer.
I bet.
Would be Kevin. But Kevin was one of the electors' attorneys. And you know what? I apologize. I went to a Lincoln Day dinner. and sat at the guy's table, and I forgot his client's name, one of the electors. And I bet you Kevin knows that too.
I hope so.
I hope so too. But
I'd assume he's a better lawyer.
Kevin was one of the electors one of the attorneys for one of the electors, and the case was dismissed, pissing Dana Nessel right off.
Yeah, we played that last week.
She's mad. Oh, I must have missed that. I only
Yeah.
watched half the stream, Kevin. I'm bad. I'm a bad host. I'm a bad son.
Yeah, you're not my son, but
I'm a bad father.
But yeah, no, I played the Dana Nessel clip, and she was like basically like, how dare they? It was obviously a crime. I'm like, why are you making this so personal, Dana?
Well, now listen, these electors have paid enough. 2 years, I don't know how much time. It was a long time. A lot of money out of pocket, a lot of stress. Did you know one of the electors who has been very sick throughout this process died the day that the case was dismissed?
It probably wasn't good for their health.
He had to go, he was going in for open heart surgery or something. He'd been struggling, and he didn't make it into surgery. As soon as he heard the announcement, done. But could you imagine going through health problems?
Yeah,
as an old timer,
and then the stress on top of it,
of
and
this
then it goes away.
and I know Hank Cho, one of the electors, real well.
Yep.
Talk to Hank almost weekly. Good friend of mine. Now Hank didn't worry about it as much as I did, but let me tell you, that's got to be the weight of the world off your shoulders.
Oh,
and I asked him.
I imagine.
I called him 2 days later, and he's like, yeah. And he talked about the legal bills, though. He wouldn't tell me the number, though.
I mean, it's got to be a $250,000 minimum. 250,000.
I asked him straight up what the number was, and he didn't tell me the number.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I mean, I've heard rumor that like any major murder case and stuff is usually like starting at 250,000. And this has been what, a year?
Oh God, no! It's a year and a half going on 2.
Yeah, a long time.
It's been a long time. When the charges first dropped, we did a fundraiser for him down at Meckley's Flavor Fruit Farms. By the way, right now is a great time to get down to Meckley's. You know that back in the day, this is the only time you went to Meckley's in the fall.
Yeah, because
now you can go there all year round. They do concerts out in the cornfields.
Yeah.
They have like the state's biggest dinner table in a cornfield and a pumpkin patch. I don't know.
You get like drunk off of their cider.
We used to serve their cider. If you remember at our bar, there's that apple cider
was that Meckley's?
from Meckley's.
I don't remember being.
It took us forever to sell it. I was worried about it because people McThirsties were funny. But we ended up selling it. But I think we sat down for a couple of nights and all of us just got together and drank a ton of it.
That sounds like
it was delicious. It tasted like cider.
It is really good.
Better get a DD though.
Oh yeah, because it's like 8%, 9%.
By the way, I was in Gatlinburg last week. That's why I couldn't be. Well, okay, I come back from Gatlinburg Sunday. I could have made it to the stream, but
then Charlie got shot in the neck. So
Charlie had been shot in the neck, but I forgot. I knew all weekend. I think I texted you, hey, I'll be on the stream. And then I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to go to Lansing.
Yeah.
I didn't want to miss that. And so Kevin was on his own. But what was my point? What was I getting at there?
Meckley's. Cider?
Oh, no, I was down in Gatlinburg.
Yes.
And Sarah's cousin owns a couple of pubs, and he specializes in agave draft beers of shit you never heard of.
Right.
And so I went with the good old, the one I know, and I went with a Bell's. By the way, that's pretty decent beer. I like them.
Bell's is Michigan.
Yeah, that's what I said. I went with the Michigan one.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said the one you know.
I didn't know. I didn't drink the ones I never heard of, so I went with a Bell's because I'm from Michigan. Two of them, and boy, you feel it.
Well, depending on what Bell's, they're like 9, 10, 11% sometimes.
Listen, I'm a Miller Lite drinker. Drink 2 Bell's. Wow.
Yeah, it'll change your life.
Yeah,
in a bad way.
It was midday. I don't drink midday.
Yeah.
If I do drink midday, it's then all day and all night
because you're still drinking. Yeah.
I got back to the hotel. I had to take a little nappy nap.
Yeah, they'll do that to you. I used to go up to there's a brewery in Mason, Bad Brewing, I think, and I'd go up there with a buddy, and we'd have a couple. And then they had like the super high IPAs that they serve like an ounce basically. They're like 17%. All of a sudden, I'm like, we gotta chill out before I drive home from Mason. Jesus Christ. It's like stop at Clavon to get some pizza or something.
Do something.
Oh.
But yeah, a couple of them, boy, you feel it. You get a bang for your buck. It's like, $9 a pint, but
Kevin is chiming in.
Kevin
Kievsky.
Kievsky.
I got you back, bro.
I've got it broken down here on a piece of paper. I don't want my buddy Kevin mad at me.
Nah, he'd be
You know, he doesn't care if you screw up his
yeah,
name.
yeah. He said it's fine.
No, he's cool with it, but I'm trying to get it right.
You want to intro him and then
Yeah, let's get him on here. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest on the Stick to the Plan podcast is candidate for Michigan Attorney General, Kevin Kievsky. Did I get it right, Kevin?
yeah, I think
You got it just perfect, and it's great to be with you two gentlemen. How are you today?
We're doing pretty well.
Doing
We
well.
were.
Good to
I don't
have
know
you.
if you heard, but before you jumped in, probably not. But I had been practicing pronouncing your last name.
Well, you
figured
have
if we're
joined a
gonna be
whole bunch of
friends,
other people. You have joined a whole bunch of other people that have practice, but really, like up in Mackinac, people were saying Kajewski, Kievsky. It doesn't matter to me.
that last time.
So I appreciate that a
You're like,
lot.
it doesn't matter. Just vote for me.
That you don't get upset when people screw up your name, because a lot of people
No.
do. But I figured if I'm going to be Kevin's friend, I better get the last name right. So I've been practicing. But I was telling. All right, we have two Kevins here today.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling my Kevin that it probably wasn't 30 minutes after the announcement that the cases against the electors had been dropped that I was texting you congratulations, and I was also texting, "Hey, can I get you on the show?" And
I've taught you well.
and for two reasons, I did want to talk about the good news of the electors and the case being dropped, and I also want to bring you've been on the show before. I also want you to bring us up to date on how well your campaign's going. Although I do see it's going pretty well.
Oh, can you see me? Am I still here?
Yeah, you're good. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked up. I accidentally played the stream back on that.
Oh, I wonder what was going on.
Oh,
Yeah, I was just checking the chat.
So let's start with the electors here.
yeah.
You know, what can you bring us up to date? Anything now you can tell us that you couldn't tell us before, now that the case is dropped?
Well, let me just kind of say a few things that I told the House Oversight Committee on the weaponization of government. And I testified in front of them for maybe about 45, 50 minutes. Then I'm going to break it down in like maybe a minute and a half.
Thank you.
So all the charges were dropped, which is wonderful because the judge, Judge Kristen Simmons, found that there was no probable cause to believe that a crime was committed. In fact, when it came to the judge reading her opinion from the bench that the cases should be dismissed, there was a lawyer sitting immediately to my right, and he leaned over and he said, "Sounds like she's reading from your brief." And that's absolutely true. And we've been maintaining the innocence of my guy, Cliff Frost, in addition to all the other electors the entire time. And you know why? Because they were just simply attempting to seek redress of their grievances with the government. You know, you take a look at the First Amendment, and there are 5 different freedoms in there. The 5th freedom that a lot of people don't talk too much about, it's not necessarily, press or assembly or religion or speech. Those are all important. But the 5th one is actually asking the government to address your concerns. And that's all that they did, and that's what the judge said. Now, where do we go from here? The Attorney General has, through the office that she has, the ability to seek an appeal of sorts, I guess you can say, with the circuit court above the district court. That's going to expire on September 30th or at the end of the month.
Okay, I wonder when the expiration was.
Yeah. Now, at the same time, this does not mean that the case was dismissed with prejudice. Could the Attorney General attempt to bring charges again or different charges based upon new information coming out? Yes, I guess she could. But, I mean, this was a resounding victory for justice because the evidence was just simply not there. And I'll say one more thing and I'll pause. But what I told the committee as well, that these particular charges were absolutely 100% political in nature. And with all due respect to the Attorney General, I really don't care what she says about that because we have her own words on video.
Yeah.
And folks can see it anytime that they want. But she said that I charged these folks in Ingham County because the jurors here are Democrat. This is a very Democratic leaning county. And then she also admitted in the same video that none of these electors had the intent, to the requisite criminal intent, to be found guilty of uttering and publishing or forgery or conspiracy or any of that stuff. So with that being said, the Attorney General lost a resounding loss.
Yeah.
And we secured a resounding victory for the First Amendment and for our clients.
I've seen one of the attorneys testifying in front of the House committee, the same one you're referencing. I didn't. I just happened to find it somewhere. Might have been live even. I didn't realize many of the attorneys were testifying, or I would have sat there and waited for yours. Although I just recently did see yours. I don't know, on Twitter or something, and haven't taken the time to watch it. But that particular attorney was talking about how rare it is for a case to be dismissed. That it's extremely rare, and then and for it to happen means that the charges were so ridiculous that a judge had to say there's no premise to move this to district court, right? Circuit court.
Right.
And I thought that was interesting. That rarely do you hear charges at the preliminary hearing being dismissed. Am I right with that?
You're right. And as well, that second attorney that testified, Nick Somberg, he testified after me. So when you logged in and you
Oh, I see.
watched, it was maybe halfway through. If folks really do want to actually see my testimony, it was covered by the Midwesterner in addition to a few other folks, but it's on my X or Twitter. So at Kevin Kievsky, and then you can watch him there. But it's absolutely true. When you look at these charges, the only thing that a judge looks at is two things. Number one, was there a crime committed? And number two, is there probable cause to believe that the individual in question committed it? And here, probable cause, just for your viewers that may not know, is like there's a 20% chance that, whoever got accused of a crime did it. Most of the time, like 95% of the time, maybe a little bit higher, but the vast majority of time, charges are bound over. For a judge like Kristen Simmons, Judge Simmons, to say there's no crime here, that's rare,
Right.
especially since this case is almost, from the time it was filed, like 2.5 years old. So it was a resounding victory.
Kevin, I think you just answered it. Kevin and I were talking about how long this has been since the charges were filed against two questions here. How many electors were there altogether? 16?
There were 16, however, one of them decided to take a deal
That's right.
so that he could testify. So
Which
then it became
didn't work
15.
out for the prosecution well. His testimony didn't affect anything.
Right. And on that point, really quickly, we're talking about Mr. Renner. And Mr. Renner was going to be the star prosecution witness. But when Mr. Renner testified, easily, in my mind, right there, when I cross-examined him, it just became apparent that he truly believed that what they were doing was attempting to preserve a constitutional remedy. And furthermore, that they were just seeking to petition the government for the redress of their grievances. That's it. And that was very, very, very helpful to us. But again, we didn't call him. The prosecution, or more so the AG's office, did.
That makes me wonder, did your client or any of the other electors, did the Attorney General's office reach out to your client or any of the others about making a deal? Or that you're aware of?
Well, we have something called the Michigan Rule of Evidence 408, or MRE 408. So if we have conversations, we can't necessarily talk about them. But here's what I can say. That is, Mr. Frost, every step of the way, maintained his innocence. And I'm glad that he did.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times in the criminal justice system, without going on tangent, people, they take a look at the sheer length or the litigation or potential consequences, and they'll plea out sometimes, even though they didn't do anything wrong. there were a handful of folks. I didn't charge anywhere near this amount, but some folks that charged, good attorneys, by the way, I'm not trying to sully their character, between $250 to $300,000 in order to
nailed it.
mount a sufficient, legally constitutional required defense.
Oh my God. I think I talked about this. Well, I'm going to go back. Something that reminded me of something. 25 years ago, I was charged locally for installing a burglar alarm without a license. And it was a former employer that I had. And it was back before anybody, understood the internet and on and on. It was, anyways, it was nearly 2 years of this case going on. No one in Jackson County even heard of such a thing. No one knew how to deal with it. My attorney didn't, although my attorney was really well on this. But the reason why I bring that up, I ended up pleading last minute. The pressure on me and my family was immense. And what I was facing was nothing compared to what these electors were facing, although it was serious.
Right.
It was like a 5-year felony. I used to joke, can you imagine me being incarcerated, standing in the prison chow hall, and the guy next to me go, what are you in for? And I'm like, installing a burglar alarm without a license. But the pressure was that great. I had spent way more money than I could afford on my legal defense, which was nothing like the numbers that you just talked about, but it was in the thousands. And so I took a deal and got some probation, and moved on in my life. I think about those electors, and I'm close with one of them, Hank Choate, and Hank is a tough old farmer. I worried about him, and many of my friends worried about him more than he let on that he was worried about it. He always, I think, had the faith that things were going to work out okay, and they did. I called him the day after the charges were dropped, and I could tell he was happy. But he did talk about his legal bills, and he did not give me the number. But the weight of the world off these people's shoulders has got to be huge. I know a few of them, like Michonne Maddock, was up to Mackinac this weekend. I'm sure that celebration was a little bit funner now that that's off their plate, I would assume. So I think and something that I thought outside looking in, I remember when the charges were first brought, I thought that all 16 electors should probably share the same legal counsel, and something changed to where that was bad advice. And you guys mostly all had your own legal counsel. But what I've seen, you guys all worked well together.
Yeah. So the preliminary examination, which is for your viewers, kind of think of it like a miniature trial. And the only thing that the judge has to determine is there like a 20% chance that, the criminal defendant committed a crime? That was 1 week. It was 7 days in a row. I think we sort of took a break for the weekend, of course, but we worked really well together. We're able to even pass each other notes. So imagine you're the attorney general, you have your witness, whoever it is, and then you're done with your questioning. Well, then afterward, you have cross-examination that comes from every single witness. I'm sorry, every single defense attorney.
Sure there is.
And when it comes to Coleman, who you know relatively well, and I believe was the attorney for, I consider him a really good friend now, Hank Choate. He was up there after I was done, and I passed a note about like another line of questioning. Coleman looks at the note, and he looks at me and goes, and then he went off that particular line of questioning. Awesome. So I love doing that. But the thing is, though, no one should have to deal with this. Lawfare is evil and affects lives, and even cost someone their life. If you take a look at Haggard.
I was telling Kevin, prior to the stream, that one of the electors passed away the day that the charges were dismissed. The day. Now, he was ill leading up to that. But could you imagine being in your elder years, which many of them were, including Hank? I mean, he's in great shape, but he's an old timer. And but being in bad health and having this on your conscience, you're worrying about this, trying to get through your health. And I think as horrible as that is, part of me is like, boy, I'm glad old boy waited until the charges were dropped. You know what I mean? But yeah, the pure evilness that this administration has put on not just them, many people. And that's a cornerstone of your campaign for attorney general is the lawfare. And it needs to stop. I don't know if you want to expand on your opinion of lawfare here.
Yeah, I'm happy to. And let me say one thing about Mr. Haggard. So I was not his criminal defense attorney, but there's also at the same time in Kent County in Grand Rapids, 3 Democrat electors from 2020 civilly suing all 16 Republican electors from 2020. In that particular civil suit, I represent, of course, Cliff Frost, but I also represented, taking a look at Mr. Haggard. He was a client of mine. So while he was able to, hopefully peacefully pass away after learning about his criminal charges being dismissed, unfortunately, we couldn't do the same thing when it came to the civil suit. And I told this to the Weaponization Committee in the legislature last week that, of course, I'm not claiming that directly this lawfare, both civilly and criminally, killed Mr. Haggard, but it certainly contributed to the stress. And I know that when you take a look at the health, you take a look at someone's financials, all these other things, it took its toll. And in some way, it contributed, I think, to the demise of his health. So lawfare can be effectively ruining someone's family life, someone's livelihood. People had their licenses being threatened and be taken away. People lost their rights during this to actually have a CPL, and they were actually genuinely concerned for their safety. People couldn't actively travel for a while during this case.
I heard
it's just bad.
I heard Ms. Sean's attorney that I guess testified after you talk about how she wasn't even allowed to go to Lindell thing. But she was limited in her travel when she requested to travel. And if you take what he was trying to explain, yes, Mike Lindell is very political. And if it would have been somebody else, they would have allowed her to travel to do that. But since it was Mike Lindell, you can't go. Well, who are you to determine who you should go and who you should not under the circumstances that we were in? And everything that we're learning now about election integrity, this, that, and other thing, it all equals lawfare. It just all does at the end of the day.
I can add one really quick thing. So you mentioned the Mackinac Policy Conference, and I was there. And one of the things that we did, my campaign hosted it, we actually did a conversation about lawfare. And actually one of the electors was able to attend that. Rose Rook, who's from the 4th Congressional District, very sweet woman. And she didn't really deserve to go through any of that. But what I did talk about at that particular event, and it's the same thing I said to the legislature when I testified, we have to have reforms, and we don't have to get into all the nerd talk right now, but there's several reforms I outlined with the legislature to ensure that this is hopefully never going to happen again, or at least reduce the risk.
So back when these charges were first filed, I was at the grocery store, and I ran into a person that holds an elected position in one of the townships in Jackson County. Been around for years, should know better. And chit chat come up, and she goes, and she knows my role with the Jackson GOP. And she says, so it looks like that Hank Choate sure got himself in a heck of a mess. So when you talk about reputation,
right?
If you got a random person, somebody I thought should know better or recognize the lawfare, most people out there, we're quick to say she's probably known 50 plus years. She's a farmer in Jackson County also. To say that's your reputation. That's
Right.
Hank's reputation. I can't reference the other ones. Yes, I do know a couple of electors, but I know Hank well. We're talking most law-abiding, salt-of-the-earth farmer that you could run against, So, yeah, reputation's a big thing, and I'm glad they're exonerated. I'm glad, hopefully that person and others out there are like, oh, I guess maybe our attorney general was doing something wrong. I really hope so. I just thank you for all your guys' efforts on that.
Absolutely.
Sure.
It's a relief to me and Kevin, my Kevin.
Yeah, I was. I mean, from the beginning, I was the same way. I was like, "Why? This doesn't make any sense."
So, we've been streaming now for over 2 years, and this has been brought up on many of our shows
Yeah, we're coming up on
because
3.
we're so close to Hank and everything going on. So I am glad that's behind us, Kevin. So thank you. And I think all the rest of the attorneys that
Absolutely.
put all that work into it. We're going to go into your campaign.
Sure.
We had you on the show before. You were the only candidate at the time, and now I think 2 more have surfaced.
Right.
Doug Lloyd, who we had on the show, and Kevin and I like Doug. Okay, he's a great guy. And then Matt DePerno,
Right.
who hasn't been very active in the campaign, but I see his name's listed. But I was pleased to see at the Mackinac Conference that Kevin Kiewski won the straw poll, and actually it was a pretty good amount there, wasn't it?
Yeah, so to kind of break it down, I was actually the only candidate for any of the races to actually get a majority of the participants. Everyone else, and I'm not trying to take, anything away from them, whether we're looking at Secretary of State or governor, you had a winner, but they only got a plurality. So in my particular race, as you mentioned, there are 3 individuals. We secured just over 54% of the vote. And then the next individual that got votes, the margin over him was like almost 20% or 20 points.
Yeah.
So it was fairly resounding, fairly decisive. And I think that folks want to do 3 things, as I always have been campaigning about. We got to make ourselves more safe. We have to restore constitutional rights. And we also have to make sure that we restore the integrity of essentially our governmental institutions and also the faith that we have in our elections. So that was great that we had that. And it's actually not the first straw poll that we had. So at Mackinac, that was a very large straw poll. But in the 9th Congressional District, and nothing against, your neck of the woods, the 4th and the 5th and whatnot, but for the convention or purposes of the convention, they actually have the largest number of delegates that they would send to a state convention. So I think it was maybe a month and a half ago, they did a straw poll after everyone discussed their campaign, and there was actually even some live Q&A. In that straw poll, I even did better, actually secured just over 85% of the vote.
Wow.
And then the next individual that got votes, it was just under 15%. And I got nothing against any of the other folks in the race. I give a lot of credit to anyone and everyone that throws their hat in the ring. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that the delegates have been resoundingly very much in favor of what our campaign is about and what we want to do for Michigan. I want to have, expanding my current law practice from, having, a few hundred clients at any given time to over 10 million clients and represent every good person here in the state.
Well, thank you for that. You work hard. I've seen you on other podcasts, larger podcasts than this one. And
this is a great podcast, by the way. I like being here. So.
Yeah, we do get the
we have the best guests. I mean, we're pulling the same guests the big ones are pulling, and that's the important thing.
We do. We do get good guests. I have access to good guests. I have the phone numbers. I'm not afraid to call or text. And then I think a lot of the 5th district and Jackson County precinct delegates, when they know we have something that pertains to them, they chime in. I'm proud that we're a good source for them to bring them information. Like I said, we had Doug Lloyd on the show, and I want to expose everybody that I can to everything they're going to experience, say at the convention. We have not started on the Secretary of State candidates, but that's kind of just developed. Kevin, you come out early, boy, you're everywhere, talking to whoever you can talk to. I've seen you several times at several events, and that's what you got to do. And then I also think that you're going to appeal, assuming that you'll get through the convention, that you appeal to the general voters, and that's oftentimes a concern with, hey, can the precinct delegates, the Republican precinct delegates of Michigan, choose a candidate that can go up against the Democrats in the general? Normally, precinct delegates are, I don't want to say far right, but we're involved and we're way to the right, and that's why you became a precinct delegate. So I think it's difficult sometimes that I worry about the precinct delegates choosing somebody to get through the general. But I think you would be able to do
I want
that.
to pump the brakes just for a second, just because this is a question I have. I've always been confused on.
Sure.
That straw poll.
Right.
What exactly is a straw poll, and what's the significance of it?
Yeah, so the straw poll is basically after folks talk or there's an opportunity to get to know the candidates. It's an informal way of polling the attendees at an event, whether that's the 9th Congressional District like a month ago or in Mackinac at the Policy Conference, to see who people favor. So let me give you another quick example. You could take a look going back to the last time a straw poll was conducted for the AG race, which was 2021, because it only happens every 4 years, obviously, right? And in that particular race, the person that won that straw poll didn't even get a majority. He got a plurality, but there were also, just like my race, only 3 individuals in there. So this is the first time in a while that we actually had a resounding victory. I had people telling me, oh, I was thinking it was going to, be a blowout. And I've told folks it doesn't need to be a blowout. I mean, we just have to do one thing. We have to make Michigan red again. And I'm fixated and focused on that. And with that being said, I think, given your comments earlier about the general election, people just want to be safe. It's funny. You take a look at CNN. CNN said that when it came to safety and crime, Republicans have, and don't quote me exactly on this came out yesterday, but like a 22-23% advantage. People don't feel safe. And I won't go through all the stuff I said in your last podcast, but the Attorney General's office here in the state of Michigan, ever since Dana Nessel got elected, increased by almost 50% the number of full-time employees.
Right.
But crime has gone up in many different areas since that time. So we're less safe because they're suing who? Number 45 and number 47, President Trump, with now 31 lawsuits, and it could be 32 today. I was in court earlier for the vast majority of the day, and I just got here to do your lovely podcast, but who knows what Dana Nessel's doing.
Right. That does bring up a point. It's funny that you put those numbers together about the Attorney General's office in the House, whatever committee it is, oversight committee or whatever, has exposed a lot of that, where we've expanded government, we've expanded departments and spent tons and tons of more money for less results. And the Attorney General's office is a perfect example of that, with worrying about jumping on lawsuits. And I think Dana Nessel was the primary person on a couple of those lawsuits against Trump, but she's jumped on to what you just said, 31. It could be 32. And with that Trump derangement syndrome, whatever that they have going on in their mind, which takes resources from what you're supposed to be doing in Michigan,
Right. And just to explain this quickly to your viewers, just in case if they don't know, the Attorney General's office is a lot more than just prosecution of crimes.
Sure.
You are the attorney that represents the entire state, and the state is involved in a lot of different things. Apart from criminal prosecutions, while important, there's a lot of civil stuff, such as, taking a look at consumer protection, ensuring that rules and regulations are properly interpreted. We also take a look at representing the state. Should the state be sued and defending against any of that? So it's really important, I think, that anyone that wants to be an attorney general have experience, of course, in the criminal law, but also civil, which I have a lot of that. And that's what Michigan needs, someone that's going to be willing to fight for them. If I may say one other quick thing, and we can certainly go talk about this more, or we could go back to where you were. Uh, I take a look at the lawfare, and it's not necessarily just bad for all the individuals that have to go through it. It's particularly bad because I see you have Charlie Kirk behind you
Today.
today. And God bless his soul. God bless the two children that are never going to see their father again.
Terrible.
And God bless his lovely wife, Erica. But this lawfare, in conjunction with dangerous extreme left political rhetoric, adds to this atmosphere where people believe that conservatives are bad people, they're dangerous people, and you're going to have nut jobs out there that hear this, and they're going to perhaps engage in violence and even in a cold-blooded murder kill someone like Charlie.
It's exactly happened. We've got prominent politicians around the state. The mayor of Dearborn comes to mind over some crazy things he said last week. And as much as it's concerning that that individual would think like that and say that, but who's listening to them and then reacting to that? And apparently, if the facts that are presented to us with the Charlie Kirk assassination, this individual, the assassin, was indoctrinated somehow with a belief system that, from what I'm hearing, just changed. Like, I mean, what do I know? But his father was a Republican. I seen some pictures of the young man when he was a teenager. He looked like a normal teenager and all this, and you're like, what the heck happened? But the rhetoric from important people on the left that play into this is extremely dangerous.
I think the problem is that people don't realize that it's not just them when they post things and they say things. If they are at a high level, it resonates to so many people. It's not just their immediate people or themselves. And it's a whole actions and consequences thing, and people don't have the consequences.
Right. So if I can point out a few different things. So I was on WJR in Detroit early last week, right after all this Charlie Kirk news kind of hit after, his unfortunate murder. And we had many, I won't go through them all, it really doesn't matter, but we had many different folks, like professors at universities. We even had a judge that put forward comments that seem to condone. They hide behind their keyboards and they cheer when the bullets fly from left to right. And the other point that I made on WJR is that the bullets are not going from right to left. This is a problem solely right now, in this moment, in this time, with the left. Now, of course, I don't like political violence of any stripe or any kind. I even had on that particular interview, and your listeners can hear it if they want to go to my X account or my Twitter, a host, asking, well, what about the Minnesota House legislator that's a Democrat that got killed? Don't things happen to Democrats too? You know what I said? Yes, this is not, necessarily a Democrat problem. This is an extreme left problem. The person that actually killed that legislator was on the extreme left. That person was angry that that Democrat in the Minnesota House was not liberal enough. So we need to end this. And if people are saying you're a threat to democracy, or you're an existential threat, or you're a xenophobe, or you're whatever phobe, people are going to act on that, and that needs to end.
Yeah, it's terrible. I was watching a Jackson City Council meeting on YouTube. I can't stomach them in person. I do go to them in person sometimes if necessary, but I watch them on YouTube. And we have a Jackson City council member when they get to their comment period at the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
And he didn't say anything dangerous that I'd put in that. But how his mindset was, he had to say, the political rhetoric on the right has to end because it's become dangerous for us. So wherever their message is, I'm in my own little bubble. I watch the news that I want to watch. I don't watch the left. Maybe I should, but
the left doesn't watch the right either.
that,
They watch MSNBC and swear by it.
Apparently, the city council person doesn't, and he's a smart young man. That's what's always puzzling to me, why they think that way. But they're sent messages on the opposite, and he said this in a city council meeting, and I don't know how we're ever going to change that. We can prove to them all day long what the problem is here and now. You mentioned that it's the problem here and now. It doesn't mean that's always the issue, but when you talk about here and now, that's where the problem lies. But they're not seeing it that way.
Right. And if I may, really quickly, this is not necessarily just because of what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Sure.
We had lots of other violence against folks that are either Christian or they are of the conservative mindset. And this is going back several years. So you're absolutely right that, it hasn't been one-sided forever. But in this moment, in this time, the data overwhelmingly shows that there has been very, very troublesome political violence that ends in people getting hurt, people getting shot, and possibly, like in Charlie's case, unfortunately, God bless his soul, people getting killed. And I said this also in WJR. You were asking earlier about, like, how do we fix this? And what I told everyone, all the listeners, is that before you actually have a solution, you have to recognize that there's a problem. And this is not a Republican problem, but it's also not a Democrat problem. It's an extreme left problem. So those folks on, the maybe left end of the spectrum, I would do this if I were on the left. I'd be like, guys, it's not a both sides problem. It's not that everyone has to tone it down, but look at your side. And if I see people on my side that are doing things that are inappropriate, I'm going to call them out. I will absolutely do that. And that's what a person of good faith would do. And you got one person in particular, I think, that sets a really good example for this purpose. And that's Senator Fetterman from the state, or more so the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Yep.
He's like, guys, let's not go ahead and antagonize. Let's sort of stay away from the rhetoric. Let's actually just do what we need to do. And I wish people would heed his advice on the extreme left. Some of them perhaps have, but doesn't seem like quite so many of them have followed that advice or really care about it.
I said to my wife this morning, I'm like, I think that Fetterman ought to switch parties. She says, no, you don't. You want to keep him right there in the parties he's in, because he can convey those messages better when he's one of them.
And unfortunately, I've seen from just some political podcasts and stuff I've seen, they attack Fetterman constantly.
They're usually mad at the people on their own.
His health deteriorating and this and that and another. It's always something.
He was their golden child when he was running.
Yeah.
They were going out of their way to make sure that guy got elected. Thankfully for guys like Fetterman, and I'm sure there's a few others, not enough. Is the extreme left listening to Fetterman? Probably not. Their brains are already corrupted. Are common Democrats out there listening to Fetterman? I'm sure they are. I think everything that's happened leading up to the Charlie Kirk assassination, people were normal thinking Democrats were like, I've had enough of this shit. And I think, on the positive note, that the death of Charlie Kirk is really going to have a lot of them thinking this even more.
I think it's going to spark a well-needed change, because I do kind of disagree with you in the fact that I don't think that even normal Democrats, because why didn't they say anything to the problem left?
So you don't always not identify the problem. It's something I was going to say when Kevin was talking. I've called out people on the right within the Jackson Republican Party when I thought they were wrong on how to go about something that could be, I think, detrimental, maybe not dangerous, to the community. I'm one of them to say that's gobbledygook. That's rhetoric. Let's just talk the truth. Why comment unless you have all the facts? People are so quick to comment. before they have all the facts. And I know it's easy to do. I've probably done it myself, but try to get as much facts as you can before opening your mouth or going to Twitter or Facebook would help a lot. And I've done it. I've caught a lot of heat for it too.
Yeah.
Not as much. I will say, unity seems better within the party right now. So I hope that momentum continues.
Yeah,
But
and a quick word about unity, and more so not just looking at folks on the right, but also trying to unify between right and left. I think JD Vance said it really well when he actually hosted Kirk's show as a guest host or whatever. And
Right.
he's like, how do you unify with someone that wants to see you as a threat? And you're an existential threat to their way of life in America. How can you unify with someone that fires bullets? How can you unify with someone that cheers, albeit quietly, or they think that they're being clever about the murder, a cold-blooded, calculated murder of someone that is so influential and so important to a political movement, right? So I think we can get there, but the only way we're going to be able to make some progress, and I hope it happens, and I'm always an optimist, but we're going to have folks on the left who perhaps they don't say these things and they don't like these things, but they're going to talk to folks that are even more left than them. Please quit it.
oh yeah,
And the last thing I'll say about any of that particular stuff is even when I was in front of the House Weaponization Committee, I spoke about how lawfare and the rhetoric contributes to this atmosphere. I said that, look, and again, I'm not trying to be so cavalier with my terminology, but normies, normal people, they're sick of this stuff.
they are.
And Republicans and Democrats deserve better. So it just needs to end, and we have to have the left, those thought leaders or those folks that kind of have influence or they're influencers, they got to tell people to knock it off, right? It doesn't mean you can't disagree about policy. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you can't, have a good debate. I mean, Charlie was a great debater. He was a great individual to have a conversation with. I
This
never,
Kevin here
unfortunately,
always wanted
saw
to
him,
be
but that
Charlie
needs
Kirk.
to happen.
Yeah, I've always wanted to debate Charlie. I'm like, I'm not a college kid. Now the problem is I don't know what we would debate. We were on the same wavelength with most things. But one thing with what you said, and I heard it from somebody, I can't remember who, but it was a good point. Is these radical left, they quieted Charlie, but they don't realize that Charlie was one of the only ones that was reaching his hand out and goes, hey, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
And and let's do this peacefully. The rest is violence.
Right.
Maybe that's what they wanted.
He didn't have really a mean bone in his body.
No.
He was not racist. He was not xenophobic. He was none of these descriptors. So when folks can't win an argument, then they're going to take you out?
Yeah.
Like, come on, that's ridiculous. I want to have civil discourse. I want to have people talk. I mean, that's the way our country is designed.
That's
But
interstate gang violence.
It's similar.
Yeah, okay, well, we got to take him out. We can't talk to him, so we'll kill him. That's ridiculous to me.
It takes baby steps, and I'm the last one that likes the uniparty effect, but I think there's common ground. We're so far apart from that common ground that we can't even talk about the common ground here locally. I was working with the Jackson Democratic chairman on an issue that really affected us both, and we really had the initial talks about doing something together that was could have been political, but it wasn't political left or right. It was just something locally that we thought we could handle together. And we were in the midst of me doing most of the legwork, putting this committee together to kind of challenge this. And when I seen him last, I tried to bring him up to speed. And now this is at a county commission meeting, and it was prior to the meeting. So it's not like we were sitting down talking, but he told me, I have to back away from this. This is something that my committee doesn't want us working on together. And that's hurtful. Well, fine. We'll do it alone. I was just being a nice guy throwing an olive branch out. Hey, let's get 3 of your people. I'll get 3 of our people. Let's see if we can't work on this together. They didn't want nothing to do with it when push come to shove. I don't think it was him. I think his committee, maybe when he mentioned it to him, had some pushback. I mentioned it to the Jackson committee, and they had weird looks on their face, but everybody was supportive of what we were trying to do together and thought that was a good idea. So it's unfortunate that we can't even do little things together, you know, and we can do little things that we can have common ground on. It doesn't make us the uniparty.
Right.
So it's unfortunate, but that's babies. That's a little bit how that begins. The hatred goes deep. And I've never done anything outwardly or anybody in my committee to them. We mind our business, they mind theirs. One more thing, Kevin knows this. We were at the Jackson County Fair, and a guy, he had to been way in his 80s with a walker, come by and started an argument with one of our members. Now, I was dealing with something else and I came in tail end when they started getting loud with one another, and they were fighting over politics. And this 80-some-year-old guy looked at us both and says, "I hope you both die." A citizen at the county fair. We're talking now. The member that I was with, he blew up. He's like, "I will follow you home." I mean, it was going to get bad. I had to snatch him up, calm everything down. But who comes to the Jackson County Republican Fair booth to start a fight and tell us that he hopes we die?
The extreme left.
That is crazy. I would never have gone, or no one I know would have went over to their fair booth. And I don't wish any of them death. I don't wish any of them harm.
I don't even know where their booth.
No one does. No rational thinking person.
I wish them
wants
prosperity.
to see someone else die. No one.
I do. I wish them prosperity. I wish us all prosperity. I'm sure we all worry about our families and our communities just as much. But that's it's deep. It is. It's very deep. And I don't know if when you're the Attorney General, maybe you can make little steps to help fix that. And hopefully we get a Republican governor. I do want to ask you before I forget, it's been on my mind.
Sure.
It's a different topic. The size of the Attorney General's office. Kevin and I were exposed to the chart of the Attorney General's office, and it was quite large. I'm sure you've seen that chart and studied what the Attorney General's office is. How do you approach your first day on the job, Kevin? How do you approach that?
Well, just like the first day on the job, for example, when I was a school superintendent. I mean, again, superintendent for the Archdiocese of Detroit previously. He had just under 90 schools, 30,000 kids, 3,000 employees. You want to talk about infrastructure and bureaucracy and all of that. I mean, it's a lot. But the thing is, though, before taking a job, you need to study exactly what should be going on or what has been going on. And then see exactly with your vision and also your leadership, how you're going to be able to restructure things, not for your benefit, but for the benefit of the folks that you serve. So one thing I can tell you really quickly is, there is a period of time where there's a transition, but we have to make sure that we optimize. I'm not going to use the word doge or whatever, but we're going to right size the Attorney General's office. So it's not the largest law firm in the state. That's wrong. And we have to actually cut, I think, in a lot of different areas of government, but where I want to go in terms of the Attorney General's office, I'm not saying I just want to do massive firings, but I want to reorganize it. And I think that we can reorganize it well enough where we could save the Michigan taxpayer quite a bit of money. I mean, our budget on the state level has ballooned over the last several years. I don't know where it's going to end up for the next fiscal year, and they're still hammering out in the state Senate and the state House. But you're probably looking at a budget that's going to be somewhere, like in the mid $80 billion range. Well, even though the Attorney General's office is a small percentage of that, very small in the large scheme of things, well, we have to, tighten our belts, and we have to do a better job serving people, doing more, and making sure that we don't just sort of hog resources. That's the wrong approach. So how would I approach a job? Well, just like how I've approached everything else, study, have a plan about how we're going to effectively serve our citizens, and then you execute on that plan, right? And then I'm a results-oriented, driven type of guy. Like, for example, during COVID, when I was superintendent, we didn't really have any type of academic learning loss. I was able to operate on a budget that was almost, just a small fraction of a similarly sized school district. And we got the results done. So I would bring the same, I would say, ingenuity and the same approach to the Attorney General's office. And not that people really care or they know. I mean, I have a few different degrees, but I also have a master's degree in economics. So, and I used to teach economics too. So I'm not saying I'm going to go in there and just sort of take out graphs and charts and do all these things, but we're going to study it and we're going to make sure that we right size it to effectively serve the people of the state of Michigan.
Well, thank you. It's necessary. It sounds like to me, and you're not going to kick in the door your first day and say everybody's fired. We're starting from scratch.
Oh.
One is, you have to look at it, utilize it, and how to be effective.
Right. Right.
At the day, how to be effective. If there's got to be cuts, then there'll be cuts. You'll determine that when you cross that bridge.
And if I may quickly say this as well, I don't want to get into the gubernatorial race or anything else. I think it's really important, though, and I'm not looking at any candidate in particular when I say this, someone that has significant leadership experience, you being the chief executive of the entire state, actually having business-oriented experience, managing payroll. You're in charge of the P&L, the profit and loss. You know exactly what the projections are going to look like, and you get the results. And there's some candidates that have that, and other candidates, perhaps they don't have quite the same business acumen or the skill set. So I think that when voters, granted, that's a primary that comes after the convention for SOS and AG, they really need to consider that. But they should still consider the delegates, that particular experience as it relates to those AG and SOS roles.
So I've declared who I like for governor. A little early. It's normally not how I am. But one of them that fits that description that hasn't declared is sitting out there with the business experience, and that would be the other Kevin, Ranke. But he hasn't announced yet. When I think of, I love those kind of businessman mentality as our governor leader. Like I said, he hasn't announced yet. I don't know if he was. He was on Soldano's show, and he said he's still out there 50-50. That being said, I have committed to somebody else, and I'm sticking to him.
Yeah, you got it.
So just your opinion, I think I seen on Twitter where you did see the what would they call it at the conference for the candidates for governor did their forum. I think it did include Perry Johnson, Kevin Ranke, but it had the declared candidates, Tom Leonard, Eric Nesbitt. I think Mike Cox was in that mix. What did you think of that? We've got a pretty good bunch of guys here, don't we?
Yeah, so I think I said this in these type of words on my Twitter post. I was sitting in the front row, actually almost all the way to the left. Not because I'm left, but just to the left of the stage over there.
That day.
We have a great grouping of, gubernatorial candidates and business leaders. And I think that, again, however the voters decide is however the voters decide. But we need to make Michigan ruby red again, because if we don't do that, we're going to be in a world of hurt. I did like how folks were able to address certain policy issues. And for the viewers out there that don't know, so this was not a gubernatorial forum. It was not people talking about their campaigns. They were talking about issues, right? So how do we handle property taxes? What do we do about education? People are not supposed to talk about their campaigns, and they really didn't, which is good. But what I would really like to see, I mean, it's not my purview. I'm not running for governor, and I never will, by the way. But what I want to see people do is to actually actively debate. Just like Charlie Kirk, I want to see all these folks on a stage and actually talk about what are we going to do about energy security? What are we going to do about education when we rank 42nd or 43rd among all the 50 states? What are we going to do about crime and security? What are we going to do about essentially the Chinese land grab, where you have all of these different foreign corporations coming in here and buying up farmland and other things. And by the way, I wrote an op-ed about that in the Detroit News a few months ago. It's still on my Twitter. I want to see them talk about it, because until they actually debate in a structured way, because again, this wasn't a debate, but when they do a debate, and hopefully they do a few of them in a structured way,
I'm
the
looking forward.
voters and the party faithful can see what's going on, because right now we don't have that. And that's unfortunate, because now it's just people talking about what they think is right. And they're not necessarily getting that open give and take, which I think is really important.
As of right now, it looks to me all of them are very similar. When it comes to issues in the state, they all recognize the same issues, and they all have approaches on how to deal with them almost the same. Each one of them tend to have a little bit of different twist, whether it's education, property taxes, or whatever. I feel good about the candidates that we have for governor. I really do. There's not a one of them. Even the two that are just struggling behind and are mad all the time, even they would be decent candidates. I get where they're coming from. They care about the state. But I'm pleased. I did jump in earlier than I normally would in the position that I am, but I don't regret it. And that's Tom Leonard. And I jumped on because a couple things he said to me resonated, and here I am. But I am one of those, and this would go for the AG's race and the SOS state race. Kevin, this show's already endorsed you.
Right.
First out the gate,
and I appreciate your support.
I stick by that. But I know Matt DePernal. I supported him the last time around. I know him, and we got to know Doug. I'm pleased that we have qualified candidates in this race too. We really do that can win. I hope, it looks to me. On the Secretary of State side of things, I'm just now getting up to speed on Amanda Love and Monica and the Tim Smith, I think's his name. I haven't focused on it yet, but that's coming close. We're going to try to get as many as we can on the podcast. I'm going to try to get as many as I can to our Under the Speaker series. By the way, I want to bring you back, Kevin.
Sure.
As we get closer to, I think they announced at the Mackinac conference that the endorsement convention will be March 28th. Can you confirm,
correct,
Kevin?
Yeah, it's going to be, I don't have the date memorized in my head, but it's going to be at the end of March. It will be in Novi at the Suburban Showplace.
Okay.
And again, for viewers
Easy
that may
place
not know,
to do a convention. I like it.
Yeah. It's an easy place. It's
Easy to get
accessible.
to, easy to park.
And the rules were approved by state committee
Yes,
at Mackinac, which is great, because here's the big thing. I won't give the name of the individual, but someone that's at the national level. They want to make investments in various races, but they're not going to make investments in either AG or other things until or unless they know exactly who the candidate's going to be.
Right.
So if we actually have an endorsement convention, which is now going to happen at the end of March, that will make the transition not necessarily just for messaging and everything else, but as it relates to fundraising, that much easier, because you know what? Even if we didn't have an endorsement convention, that's not going to stop the Democrats, because they're going to be actually having a selection of their candidates. Hasn't been announced exactly yet, but it's going to be the first few months of next year. So this helps us to be on par, at least when it comes to going out at the gate, doing the fundraising, doing the messaging, and doing everything that we need to do in order to make Michigan red again.
It has to happen. I'm all for it. It was talked about at the state committee, the meeting before. I thought we voted on, yes, we're going to do an endorsement convention. We just had to settle on the date and the rules, which I heard were done. I was on the phone to Todd Gilman today, me and my buddy Todd Gilman, 5th District Chair, and also the Monroe County Chair. How you do both, I don't know. I was on the phone with him today, and he said the rules were settled. Of course, he had his opinion on them, because that's how Todd rolls.
Yep.
And he had left the meeting briefly, and he didn't realize, and that's why I asked for your confirmation if you knew that the date had been settled. You know how I heard about it is on the Detroit News.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't pay for the Detroit News to get on my news feed, but the first two paragraphs, I was able to read that the Michigan GOP settled on March 28th. And I put it in my calendar. And Todd goes, "Well, that's news to me." And I go, "Well, that's why I'm your buddy, Todd." And I wasn't there. By the way, I'm so disappointed I didn't go. I had an opportunity to go with the Tom Leonard team. I was all excited. And I had a slight family issue, non-emergency or anything that I had to take care of on Saturday morning and had to cancel. But I was watching on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and all my friends, all my political friends, and everybody I enjoy being around a lot, had a wonderful time. I seen you did, and I'm like, gosh darn it, I wish I'd gone to that. So
No, it was a great time. This was my first time ever going, and I've been on Mackinac Island previously, but never at the Grand. And the last time I was there, I mean, it was decades ago. So
yeah.
it was great for my wife and I
Oh, good, good.
to actually attend, to go to various functions. And, for example, Mike Cox had a reception, visited
Yeah,
with him. Same thing when it came to other candidates as well. They were all very good. In fact, even at my reception, which, not bragging, but it's factual, we were at Horns Bar, and we had the largest party for the AG, mind you, the largest party in terms of attendance throughout that whole thing. And we actually gave some.
Been at that. I would have been at that at Horns.
I know you would, because you're a supporter.
I would have been there.
Yeah. But it was great. And we even had folks, other candidates, and potential candidates like Kevin Rinke, for example. He came to the party, and that was nice to show their support. But the bottom line is, we got to make Michigan red again.
You do.
I'm sorry that I missed you in Mackinac, but hopefully, God willing, if I get elected 2 years from now, I will see you there.
Oh, I'll be up there 2 years from now. I won't miss it ever again. The issue could have been handled without me. But no, I'm excited about it. I meant to say I'm a great Republican. I circle the wagon, whoever is the nominee. I always do. I have political friends that sometimes don't always do that. But I'll tell you what, that tone has calmed down too. It really has. I just see unity. Whatever bickering that is happening is minor compared to what I've seen in the past.
Yeah.
And I really am seeing unity, and it makes me feel good inside.
If I may speak to that really quickly regarding unity, and I'm taking a look at this from my limited vantage point of my AG campaign. So if you remember, of course, Senator Runstead was elected as chairman, and he had a chairman's race that had, Michon, that had former U.S. Ambassador Sella, and all these other people.
Sure.
So the interesting thing is, I have folks in each one of those camps, significant folks, that support me, and they're coalescing. They just want to win, and that's what needs to happen. And I hope that whoever wins the gubernatorial nomination through the primary, I can give my assurance right here, right now, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to be a good Republican and support that individual. Why? Because disunity means you're going to lose. And
Absolutely.
We cannot lose. Michigan cannot afford to lose. And that even goes with folks, for example, in the U.S. House, U.S. Senate. We have to make sure that we remain unified so that we can take Michigan back.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it. Matter of fact, it might be the best I've felt about it in my whole decade in this mess.
Oh, wow. Well, that's saying a lot.
I just do. I have a feeling. And I think a lot of it's because me and Kevin have put so many great people on the Stick to Plan podcast.
Anyone who wants to come. Come on with
it. Kevin,
well, if I can ask really quickly, have you guys invited the gubernatorial candidates yet, or are you doing that soon?
We had Anthony Hudson on 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we had Anthony Hudson on, and then Kevin doesn't know this, but November 8th, Tom Leonard will be on the show.
Good.
I scheduled that, and yeah, I'll announce that in me and Kevin's announcement. I got a little shindig going on for my boy Tom Leonard on the 8th. We never book guests that far in advance, Kevin.
You never book guests.
I have got
I don't ever book
a guest booked for November 8th. Can you believe it?
That's my birthday week.
Yes, it is.
No, it is.
So, I mean, I'm looking forward to you doing Tom Leonard, Mike Cox, certainly when it comes to Nesbitt, any of them. Yep.
We will get them on. Also,
yeah.
Kevin, I sent you a text message. Our Lincoln Day dinner, I'll send it again. Our Lincoln Day dinner is October 25th, and our guest speakers are all the candidates for governor that we can commit to coming. And so far, we've got Eric Nesbitt. We have Tom Leonard. I just secured Ralph Ribrandt, who just announced. And then Carla Wagner and Anthony Hudson are there. And then we're on the fence waiting for Mike Cox. He's got a conflict. And then, like every podcaster says, John James is nowhere. We can't communicate with him. We not a yes, not a no. Go jump off a bridge or whatever. So we have 5 of the candidates as our guest speakers. But what we're doing is we're hoping that the candidates for AG will come. We're going to provide what I call candidate tables. So, I forget the times here. I think the doors open at 5:30 from 5 to 6. People be walking around enjoying beverages or whatever they're doing. And then we're going to set up candidate tables around the venue for not only the gubernatorial candidates, but for the AG candidates, the SOS candidates, to meet and greet, pass out literature, collect signatures, whatever the heck they got to do. So I will send you that information. We're approaching October 25th soon. I hope that you can attend.
The flyer's up on for the people right now.
Yeah, there's the flyer right there.
From your website.
There it is. Yeah. And I can tell you right now, I mean, I'll look at the calendar and the schedule. I'm almost booked for almost every Saturday for a Lincoln Day dinner.
We are.
There's even one Lincoln Day dinner. I mean, maybe you call this crazy, maybe not. I'm doing in the 1st Congressional District, all the way on the west side of the state in the UP.
Oh, boy. Wow.
In
Basically
Central
Wisconsin.
Time. And if I would drive straight, it would be 8 hours. But I'm actually going to take a flight to, of all places, Wisconsin and Green Bay.
Yeah.
I'm going to cross the border, and then I'm going to be there.
Hey.
So I want to hit every single place around the state. And when it comes to you guys, I mean, you've been wonderful to me. I will absolutely, in some way, shape, or form, support, even if I had a conflict.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if I have a speaking opportunity or not. I think people have known and do know what our campaign is about. But I certainly look forward to meeting and greeting and talking with various folks about, again, how do we actually make Michigan red again, and what they can do and what I can do to support that.
What I think, like I said, I would like to get you back and the other candidates. My focus on, and I'm not going to have enough time, is to get the SOS AG candidates here, at least for our speaker series leading into the endorsement convention. Because like when we had you here previously, I wasn't pleased with attendance. It was a great crowd. It's fine.
It was good.
But people weren't in tune to it yet. But as we approach that, more people will be in tune and are going to want to know who the candidates are. So I will try really hard to at least get you back for a speaker series.
I will say it's the only speaker series I've ever attended.
Oh, you came to Kevin's speaker series?
Yeah.
My Kevin.
Well, I'm honored you came into my speaker series.
Did you pay, Kevin?
I think they made me pay. Yeah.
I think you did pay. I remember seeing your name on there.
Yeah.
They always think that's me paying.
Oh.
We share the same name. We go by different names, but we share the what do you call that? A surname?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm just a second.
Yeah, whatever.
And I have an Uncle Kevin on the other side. So
there's a lot of Kevins.
I was going to be Little Russ or Little Kevin the entire time. There's no way around it.
By the way, my Kevin likes you, Kevin, because of the Kevin thing.
Well, that helps.
That's what got him in the first place. He goes, "That's my guy." Before he even heard your message, just to let you know, it's a Kevin thing.
It's a good name, so
Not bad.
I'm glad you like it.
I have a listener on my other show. he goes by Kev the Mev, and he always says every time he comes in the chat, he always says Kevin. That's a good name. So
Kevin Kievsky. Did I do it right again?
Kievsky.
Kievsky. I had it right the first time.
You were close.
See, I'm thinking too hard.
Mhm.
I appreciate the effort. Even if you want to say Kajewski, it's fine.
One quick question.
Yeah.
I've been communicating with Mark Fortin from Michigan Matters, Macomb County, and he's trying really, really hard to get me over there for an event because you guys came over here to our open house, and I'm trying hard to get over there. And I thought I seen, but I couldn't find it before the show. I was looking. I thought I seen where you are a part of an upcoming event over there, or is that something I missed? You know?
I don't know if this one is specifically with Mark. There's something in October. It's kind of a Unity type of event.
I seen the Unity one. You weren't named, but I kind of wondered if you were there.
I'm coming
because your schedule's probably crazy as heck.
No. I'm coming to that. In fact, let me see. I can probably give the date right here live with everyone.
And I might have saved.
Do it live.
Yeah, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
I think it's going to be Thursday, October 2nd at 6 p.m. at the Congressional District Office of John James.
Okay.
And, you can find the address because he only has a few, but just contact Mark and
I'll
he can tell you.
I'll do that. Mark's my buddy, and I've been talking about something, collaborating with him on something, and I want to get over there with maybe my buddy Chris Baird from Jackson here and see Mark. And if it's something I can do and you're there, it would make it even better. Kevin and I have some things we want to talk about, so we're going to cut you loose. But what do you want to tell people? A website, your Twitter handle again, anything you want to say before we boot you out of here?
Sure. So my website for the campaign is Kevin4, F-O-R-M-I. So Kevin4mi.com. You can make a campaign contribution. That's fine. But really what I'm looking for precinct delegates, and there's probably a whole bunch of you out there, there is a section on the top of the website, a little button where you can click to endorse. So we have been collecting these. So I would say, you two gentlemen, I thank you very much for your public endorsement, but if you can fill that out and then spread the word, that would be wonderful, because we're not going to publish a big list, but it helps us in order to secure even more so the convention win for Michigan, so that we're going to be able to get the AG's office back. As well, if you go to the website, you can find my Twitter account or X account. Again, that's just at my name, Kevin Kievsky, or if you want to do it phonetically, Kevin Kajewski, I don't care. And then, the other thing too is there are going to be various events that I'm going to be having over the upcoming, weeks, the upcoming months. And you can actually, if you're a delegate, everyone gets an email from us. We like to just promote folks attending events if they're local to you.
Okay.
And if folks want us to attend an event, so for example, a Lincoln Day dinner, or you got a fundraiser, or you want me to speak at a, whether it's an official GOP thing or an ancillary GOP related organization, you can contact us as well. But really the email address is events@kevin4mi.com. And then I got folks that can manage this crazy schedule I have on here, make sure I get from place to place without, missing a beat.
So
but you guys, it's always great to be with you.
I often have direct contact with the candidates, and they're always like, Russ, will you contact so-and-so, and ask them. I say, yeah, I'll do that. And I'm happy to do that. But I've learned once campaigns get going, that's the last person you really want to contact directly.
You can always text me. That's no problem. It's just more so folks that I haven't met or I don't know.
If I text you an event, then you just copy it and send it to your scheduler somewhere at this point in time, because you got to have somebody helping you out with all this.
Yeah. We got a great team of folks that have done convention races, that have done general election races.
Okay.
And we're going to be adding to that team to make sure that we make Michigan Ruby red again.
Awesome. Thank you for being on the show, Kevin.
Yeah.
My pleasure. You guys have a great day, okay?
Congratulations on your win with the electors, and full speed ahead at turning Michigan red.
Amen. We're going to get that done. Thank you for your support.
Thanks, Kevin. Bye.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right, Kevin. Boy, we
got rid of one Kevin.
We sure like to put these attorney general candidates on our show, don't we?
Well, it's probably good to have the attorney general, at least know who he is, or a potential attorney general.
I always say that. So one of these days, I'm going to have the personal cell phone number to the governor and in the attorney general.
But that's
a bad idea.
Yeah, that sounds like overall. Like next thing you know, you're on a body cam, drunk, yelling, "I know, governor."
Yeah, I know it. Right.
And they're like, "We don't care."
Or you're calling them at 2 a.m.
Exactly. That's how you don't get to contact the governor anymore.
I do have the personal cell phone number of the Jackson County prosecutor. I've never used it in that regard.
Yeah. Never say never.
I'm respectful.
Respectful.
I have asked her to help me before.
Yeah.
Politically on things.
Yeah.
By the way, she's endorsing Doug Lloyd.
Really?
Yeah. I don't blame her. I don't blame anybody endorses Doug Lloyd. And tell you the truth, I haven't personally endorsed yet because I'm trying to be very, very, very careful. Although this podcast it's pretty evident who I support for attorney general. Kevin, you and I like Doug Lloyd.
I like Doug. I did.
He would be a pretty darn good, great attorney general.
Well, yeah, you were talking about how the governor race, everyone seems to would be good candidates, and I think the AG race is in the same boat.
We're lucky, and then you don't know Matt DePerno. I know Matt DePerno.
I've heard his name a lot, though.
By the way, Matt DePerno would be a great AG. He doesn't have the greatest personality. His personality, by the way, Kevin has the best personality on an attorney I've ever met, because the attorneys are usually the worst.
Yeah, but think of all the things he's done. He's talking
But
about.
Doug had a great personality. He could be a normal guy.
You're right.
Matt DePerno is very much an attorney, and I don't think he thinks this way, but you always get the feeling like you're annoying him.
Oh yeah.
It's their thing, So, anyways, that was great. I don't have the exact date. I think it's November 8th is a Monday, and Tom Leonard will be on the show. I might as well go and do an announcements, right, Kevin?
Might as well, yeah. Do whatever you do.
He'll be on the show, but so since that's at 2:00, we've had the discussions about him making that a Jackson Day. Mm-hmm. And so me and his people are arranging to do a lunch fundraiser prior to the show with like 12, 15, maybe 20 key people in the Jackson community come and enjoy lunch and hopefully write big fat checks to Tom Leonard. And then he's going to be live in the studio on the Stick to the Plan podcast.
Hey, let's do it.
Candidate for governor.
Yeah, we're getting
even Anthony Hudson wouldn't even do it live in the studio.
Yeah, no.
My buddy Tom, he's hooking me up. He's gonna sit right here next to me. Yeah. I had to pull on out my hat. I said hat, not ass.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because my job as being a county captain for Tom Leonard is to seek signatures.
Oh yeah,
I'm way behind.
Well,
it's pathetic.
Do better.
His signature collecting guy is real mad at me.
Well, yeah, screw it.
He's like, we should have never picked Russ as the county captain. So I thought, I'll pull off a fundraiser to put me back in good graces.
I see what you're doing. Okay, I mean, it's smart.
I do that better than go knocking on doors or standing with a clipboard at an event asking for signatures. That's not what I do, Kevin.
True.
I'm not very good at. I just don't like doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put a fundraiser together and bring the heavy hitters around and fundraise for Tom Leonard before he goes on his show. I don't know what he's going to do after he leaves the show. That's on him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm going to do the event right up here in the GOP suite and have it catered by the Commonwealth Commerce Center because I want to show off the suite.
Well, that's fair.
All right.
Yeah. Do your announcements.
All right. Well, that was one announcement.
I know.
I scribbled on here. Oh, Charlie Kirk Memorial Vigil, whatever the heck we call him, is tonight. And I meant to tell Kevin Kiewski this because he's a Catholic
Ah, yeah.
at Lumen Christi High School.
Yeah, a good place to have it.
It is not a Jackson GOP event, but one of our members arranged this. She's an alumni and put her children there and all that. So a Charlie Kirk event today at 5:30 in front of Lumen Christi High School. I don't know. I think it's just going to be an hour or so. Say some prayers. We got some priests coming and all that stuff. So that would be the first Charlie Kirk type memorial in Jackson. That's tonight at 5:30. I got some people working on another Charlie Kirk event in October around his birthday. We are not going to forget remembering Charlie Kirk, which is probably a good thing. Also, our Lincoln Day dinner, the Jackson GOP Lincoln Day dinner, is Saturday, October 25th. I think the doors open at 4:30. We're going to eat dinner at 6. And our guest speakers will be as many candidates for governor that I can secure. So far, we have 5 of them. And I mentioned that when Kevin was on the show earlier. We have Tom Leonard, Eric Nesbitt, Ralph Rebrandt, who just announced, Anthony Hudson, and Carla Wagner so far. And I think I might be able to secure Mike Cox. I am paying attention to see if Perry Johnson or Kevin Reinke jump into the race before October 25th. In a minute I hear that, I know how to contact them both, and I will be on them to see if I can't get them as our guest speakers at the October 25th Jackson County GOP Lincoln Day dinner. People, that is the day of the Michigan State football game. The time has not been announced. Do not fret. Multiple big screen TVs are in the event room, and we will have the game on if it's at the same time as our Lincoln Day dinner. I promise. We went through this before. We scheduled this. We find out about the game. Don't worry. Come hang out. Open bar, food, watch the game. I don't care. Just show up. That'd be great. What we've done, which nobody does. So Jackson County, Kevin, you know this. We have been known as a great town to party in. I always say Jacktown, where we get down. So you know what we've added to our Lincoln Day dinner? An after party.
Ah.
So the Lincoln Day dinner gets done at 9.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to party till midnight.
Oh, wow.
With a dance floor. We have a DJ. You know who our DJ is? John Taylor.
Yeah.
Johnny Jett.
Why wouldn't it be?
Johnny rocks. He did our inauguration gala. This place was wound up. And the Commonwealth was serving the drinks like crazy. So October 25th, Lincoln Day dinner. Your ticket to the Lincoln Day dinner includes the after party. But if you just want to come to the after party, you can do so there. I think it's $35. JXN GOP, you'll see. I think
it's right at the top.
It's right at the top.
Yeah.
And guys, I got to tell you, it's our largest fundraiser, and fundraising is important. We cannot win election on magic beans. And it takes money to win elections. Cool. Absolutely. No one gets paid. Kevin, you know how much time I put into this. Mm-hmm. I do not get paid. Every now and then, I might get a lunch out of the deal. Okay, I don't get paid. No one gets paid. It's all volunteers. And every dime goes into electing Republicans. So it doesn't matter what you like. It's a fundraiser. Please help us fundraise to elect Republicans. That's my important stuff. Turning Point USA. Mm-hmm. Kevin and I have had a connection with Turning Point Action for a couple of years.
Right.
Turning Point has, I think, 3 organizations: Turning Point USA, Turning Point Action, and Turning Point Faith.
Okay.
I have direct contact with the leaders of Turning Point Action. because we're a political organization. What Turning Point Action does, we've had Luke Malis on the show.
Yeah, we
From
did.
Turning Point Action.
Early in the.
He's still their head guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got
Oh,
Luke's number. That is the political arm of Turning Point. Is Turning Point Action. My point is the reason why I bring this up. Several months ago, I had a representative here from Turning Point USA trying to get a youth coalition or something going. Nobody showed.
Nobody?
3 people.
Oh, that's not nobody.
3 young people and 6 old people.
Oh, that's not a very good youth coalition.
I was so disappointed. I promoted it everywhere I can. Our website, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere I can, and no one showed. Okay. Now there's a big thing about, oh my God, we got to start a Turning Point USA chapter at our school, at our church, at our college campus. Yes, you do. If you need help doing that, contact the Jackson GOP. We have the contacts for Turning Point USA to launch a youth organization at any high school, any college campus, church, or whatever you got to do. Contact Jackson GOP at jxngop.org. There's a number on there. You can even call me directly. I'm telling you, we can help facilitate starting more chapters to honor Charlie Kirk and grow Turning Point USA larger than it already is. And that's what Charlie wanted.
Yeah, that was kind of his whole life. I mean, he started when he was, 18? Just fresh out of high school?
By the way, I seen pictures of him before he met his wife, Erica. He was a geek.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He dressed all goofy and his hair was all weird.
I mean, you don't become...
She straightened him out.
You don't become one of the greatest debaters of all time.
Being normal.
Yeah, I mean, come on. He was like, he was headed.
He's like 9 foot tall.
Yeah, he's real tall.
He's super tall and lanky, and his suit sport jacket didn't fit and stuff. She had him dressing better.
Yeah. She seems a little bougie.
Anyways, you want to start a Turning Point USA chapter anywhere in Jackson, just get a hold of Jackson GOP, and we can help you out. Mm-hmm. There will not be a Lincoln or Under the Oak Speaker Series in October. Do you know why, Kevin?
Why?
Because the 25th is our Lincoln Day dinner.
Oh, yeah, there's shit to do there.
There's shit to do in October. It's important that you get your tickets, jxngop.org. I don't know. Oh, I'm going to blow it out here. We have a member who is helping a Democrat get elected.
I saw your post, and actually,
all right, let's start by this.
Here's the... I'll pull up the official.
My statement.
Yeah, it's on the website.
By the way, Kevin,
Chris is doing good. Your signature looks like my signature. I don't like it.
You said Chris is doing good. I wrote that, but
I'm saying he had to put it up on the website.
Well, and Chris jammed it through Chat GPT.
Good boy.
So it makes me look smart. I'll have to learn how to do that myself. But all right, let's start with this. The Stick to the Plan podcast is not affiliated with the Jackson GOP.
No.
This is a Russ and Kevin podcast. It is not a Jackson GOP podcast. It just so happens that the chairman of the Jackson GOP is one of the hosts on Stick to the Plan podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. It is a political podcast. We promote a lot. But one of our members is actively campaigning for a known Democrat in the 5th Ward for City Council. Actively. You know who it is? I'm going to tell it. Jimmy.
I didn't know, but I assumed.
I didn't put that in
No,
that
that's
statement.
nothing in there, no.
I played that professionally in the statement.
ChatGPT did, apparently.
They didn't put Jimmy's name in there.
That's true. You have to tell it, but the reason I knew you probably use ChatGPT is because I don't know if you know how to use a semicolon.
I don't even know what a semicolon is.
My point.
I didn't even know what pronouns were until the freaks of the world started using pronouns.
I'm looking for there's a Schoolhouse Rock. Remember that show? There's a one about pronouns that you can't find anywhere.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if anyone can find that.
Anyways,
that's
the race for City Council 5th Ward is between Christy Davis, who is the incumbent, and Solanda Hunt. Solanda Hunt is a Jackson School Board member. She is the co-writer with Derek Dobies of the DEI policy for Jackson Public Schools. I believe she's the former chairman of the Jackson Democratic Party. And then something that hurt me personally is she's a donor to the Under the Oaks Pact. And the Under the Oaks Pact is Connor Wood and those guys stole Under the Oaks and made it a pact to make everybody think that maybe these candidates that they're endorsing are endorsed by the Republicans. And they are not. If you see anything from the Under the Oaks Pact, it has nothing to do with us. It's from the left. Now, I hand them something. They got one on us. We should have done that before they did, and we didn't.
Yeah. Well, did they trademark it?
I didn't trademark it, and they didn't trademark. Maybe we need to steal it back.
There's a common man law, but the thing is, and for people like Roy Rat in the chat who that aren't from around here, Jackson being the birthplace of the Republican Party, it was birthed under the Oaks.
Right.
And so it's always been a Republican thing. And so the Democrats went,
They did. Connor pulled a good one.
No. It's well played.
Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
How many poops do you think he had to take to formulate that?
I know. His wife,
that's at least a 2 pooper.
His wife had something to do with it. I forget her name. She used to be on city council.
Girls don't poop, so.
But I interviewed on WKHM about it, and then she did. And I sounded way smarter than she did. And I didn't have Chat GPT helping me, too. It was me talking. But anyways, the Jackson GOP has not endorsed in the city of Jackson's 5th Ward. Okay, we typically don't endorse in nonpartisan races, and there's a lot of reasons why. We have in the past, typically don't. Most of the Jackson GOP is siding with Christy Davis. I personally endorsed her this morning on Facebook. I endorse Christy Davis. It's not like you get the accusation that so-and-so is running for something and they voted for a Democrat once upon a time. This is different. This is a known Democrat in Jackson who one of our members is actively campaigning for.
One of your very active members.
It sucks. Jimmy's my buddy.
Yeah.
He helped do a lot around here. But he should have known better. He has his beliefs. That's fine. The Jackson GOP is doing everything we can to censure Jimmy. And there's even attempts to remove him. But we haven't endorsed in that race. So if you see Jimmy out there knocking doors for Shalonda Hunt, it has nothing to do with us.
10-4.
I just said that right on the podcast.
Yeah, now it's on the internet forever.
No one's watching this time by now anyway. So.
Yeah, no, our viewership has dropped. We were at like 14. We're at 6.
We're called 6. Did you hear that? All right, let's get out of here, Kevin. Vote for Christy Davis.
Yeah, vote for Christy Davis. Guys, thank you. We were on YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook today. We'll do this every Monday at 2 o'clock. Do we have anyone set up for next week? Probably not.
Absolutely not.
No. We have somebody set up in November, but we don't have anything for next week. No big deal, though.
Maybe Christy Davis.
Or Yolanda Hunt.
I will ask Shalon. I'll ask Jimmy to ask Shalon. Let's get Shalon down here.
Maybe. But guys, yeah. See us every Monday. You can always donate to the show. There's a thing somewhere. Ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/STTPP. Just look at it. It's hard to say. I got to change that. And
see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week. That's everything. Last week I had such a smooth outro, and I don't know. Anytime you're around,
I nerve you up.
I maybe because I don't even have my set up. There it is. Okay, this is how I end all my shows in complete and total disarray. Because why not? All right, guys. See you next week. Oh,
you've been listening to a Grandma's Boy Media Production. Welcome to the Stick to the Plan podcast. Michigan's elite political podcast is about to begin, live from the birthplace of the Republican Party.